Hello everyone! Here's a comprehensive overview of Zuper's configuration settings. The job configurations allow you to change any job created in Zuper. To access the job configurations, go to the Settings tab, navigate to Configuration Settings, and click on Job Settings. Let us start with the job categories in the job settings. Here you can edit existing categories or create new ones. Let's create a new category called Cleaning. You can provide an estimated duration for this job, so I'll set it to approximately 2 hours. You can also select a description and color for this category. I'll choose blue. Once saved, you'll see that a new job category called Cleaning has been created. Now let's move to the Status tab, where you can define the various stages of this job. You can simply clone the statuses from there if you already have a job category with a similar status pattern. In this case, I'll clone all the statuses. To do this, I'll select the Clone Status option, which brings in all the statuses. If you wish to create additional statuses, click the New Status button. Enter the status name such as On Hold and choose the status type. If it's a new type, select Other. Otherwise, choose the relevant status type. You can provide a description and select a color for the status. The remaining settings are permissions or features that can be enabled for the status. If you want to collect customer signatures when updating the status, you can mark it as Yes. This will prompt the technician to collect the customer's signature. Similarly, if you want to show a preview of the document or template to the customer before collecting their signature, mark it as Yes. If you'd like to gather customer feedback when updating the status, mark it as Yes. Then we have the option of requiring facial authentication. If marked as Yes, the technician will need to provide facial authentication before updating the status. Following this, you have geofencing. By enabling this setting, you can define a georadius. If the customer is within 100 meters of their location, they will be able to update the status. Otherwise, they won't have the ability to do so. Essentially, you're restricting the technician to be present within 100 meters of the customer's location to update the status. Additionally, you can also capture geo-coordinates. This means that the specific geo-coordinates of where the update occurred are captured every time the status is updated. Moving on, you have the option to enable field executives and managers. Enabling this feature allows the respective user groups to access the status. Lastly, you have dependent statuses. By marking this as Yes, you can select another status that will depend on this particular one. For instance, if you designate Job Started as a dependency for this status, the technician will only be able to see or update the On Hold status if they have already updated the Job Started status. You can also add remarks. If marked as Yes, you can choose between predefined free text remarks or both types of remarks. If you select both, you can provide a set of predefined remarks that the technician can choose from and a text box where they can enter additional free text remarks. In this case, I'll mark it as free text. Once the status is updated, you can freely move it between different statuses by clicking and dragging it to the desired position. Finally, there are job card templates. These are HTML templates that represent various documents such as job completion reports or job cards. You can customize these templates by adding your logo, hard-coded information, data from the job, or even information from a checklist. This allows you to send a professional document to the customer as proof once the job is completed. You also provide a Try New Editor button, which takes you to the Component Editor page. Here you can drag and drop components to create a custom template. For example, you can add a triple section, an image or a text icon with company details or the job or work order ID. Based on your requirements, you can build a personalized template that can be used to generate a printed document for the customer each time a job is completed. Next, let us explore the customer settings. To access these settings, go to the Settings page and click Customer Settings under Configuration Settings. The first section here is for customer categories. You can create or edit categories for customers. To edit a category, click on the pencil icon next to the desired category. You can make changes to the name or the SLA provider for that category. To create a new category, click on New Category, name it as New. For this category, the SLA duration will always be 4 hours. You can provide a description for these customers as well. Following that, you can create or edit billing frequencies. For example, if you want to create a quarterly billing frequency, choose the frequency type as monthly and set it to occur every 90 days. Save this frequency to update the respective billing options. These are the available customer settings in Zuper. Next, let us delve into the timesheet settings. In the Timesheet Settings section, accessible under Configuration Settings on the Settings tab, click on Timesheet Settings. This will take you to the Timesheet Settings page. The first section in Timesheet Settings is the Approval Hierarchy, where you can establish an approval hierarchy for a specific team. For example, let's consider Team B, which currently doesn't have an approval hierarchy. Click on New Hierarchy to set up a new one. Select the user who should be the approver for this hierarchy, such as Bruce Lee, and assign them level 1 in the hierarchy. Save this configuration. Now, any timesheet approvals or requests from Team B will be sent to Bruce Lee for level 1 approval. If you want to add another level of hierarchy where another user approves requests after Bruce Lee, select the team and provide the approval level. This will create a second level of hierarchy. For instance, if Valentine is the next approver, select their name and assign them the second level. Valentine will have the highest level of approval and the final decision in this case. The higher the level of approval, the higher the level of hierarchy. In the next section, you have time-off request types. You can create different types of time-off requests and set the number of days available for each type. For example, let's create a new time-off type called casual leave. Set it as paid and allocate 10 days of casual leave for each user. Save this configuration. Now, technicians will have 10 days of casual leave that they can apply for through the mobile application. Moving on, let's discuss the parts and service configurations in Zuper. To access these settings, go to the Settings tab, navigate to Configuration Settings, and select Parts and Services. This will take you to the respective page. The first section is for different categories. By default, parts and services are categorized into products, parts, and services in Zuper. You can create new categories here if you want to categorize them differently based on the industry. To create a new category, click on the New button, provide the category name, for example, Service, and save it. Now you can create parts or services under this new category. Additionally, you have the Locations section to create and manage multiple warehouses in Zuper. To create a new location, click on New Location, name it as Warehouse 3. Assign the location type as Warehouse and set the access permissions for users. It can be all users, only assigned field executives, or a specific team. Let's say only the respective team will have access to this warehouse in this case. Please provide the address and specific location information for the warehouse, then save it. The new warehouse is now available. When creating a new product or part, you can update the number of items available in this warehouse. This allows you to manage inventory across multiple warehouses in Zuper. Next, let's explore the Quotes and Invoices settings in Zuper. To access these settings, go to the Settings tab, navigate to Configuration Settings, and select Quotes and Invoices. This will take you to the respective settings page. The first thing you see under the Quotes and Invoices settings is the templates. These templates are used for quotes and invoices that you send to customers. You can edit the available templates by clicking on the pencil icon. You can edit an existing template or create a new one by clicking on the New button. Provide a name and type for the template, such as Invoice Template 2. You can also provide a description, format, sizing, orientation, portrait or landscape, and set a basic border for the template. For example, you can set a 10mm border across the template. Now you have a blank canvas where you can add components like invoice numbers, images, tables, and design the template according to your needs. You can also import HTML codes directly into the template. Once you make any changes to the template, you can save it. The new template is now available for use in the next page. Moving on, you have tax settings. Here you can create new taxes or group existing taxes. To create a new tax, click on the New button. Provide a name for the tax, such as state tax, and specify the percentage. You can mention if it's a regional tax and associate it with a particular region, such as a state or city. For example, you can select Arizona and specify that it applies only to the city of Carefree. If you want to associate this tax with a tax group, you can do that as well. You can also create tax groups where multiple taxes can be bundled together. For example, you can create a tax group called All Taxes and use it to apply a set of taxes to a specific quote or invoice. After creating the tax or tax group, save the settings. Next, you can see the payment modes. Here you can define the different payment modes you would like to accept for a quote or invoice. For example, you can have options like online credit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and cash. To create a new payment mode, click on the New button. Give it a name, such as Stripe. Mark it as an online payment mode and provide a description. Save the payment mode, and now it will be available for selection when making a payment on a quote or invoice. After payment modes, you will find payment terms. These terms determine the payment duration and range for an invoice. To create a new payment term, click on the New button, give it a name such as quarterly, and specify the number of days for the term. For example, if it's a quarterly term, you can set it to 90 days. Save the payment term, and it will be available for selection when generating invoices. Finally, there are follow-up reminders. You can create reminders for technicians or customers regarding quotes or invoices. These reminders can be sent via email or SMS at specific intervals. To create a new reminder, click on the New button. Select the module, invoice or quotation. Specify the recipient, internal team, specific user, or customer, and set the timing for the reminder. For example, you can choose to send the reminder 2 days before the due date of the invoice at 9 a.m. You can also select an invoice template to be included with the reminder and provide a subject and body for the email. Once you create the reminder, it will be triggered automatically according to the specified criteria. These configurations for quotes and invoices in Zuper provide you with a comprehensive set of options to customize and manage your operations effectively. Next, let's delve into the contract settings. These settings are available under the Configuration Settings in the Settings tab. You can access the contract settings by clicking the Contracts button, which will take you to the respective contract settings page. The first setting under Contract Settings is the billing period, where you can define a custom billing period. To create a new billing period, click on the New button, provide a name, and select the type, days, weeks, or months. Enter the desired value. For example, let's say you want to create a billing period called quarterly that occurs every 3 months. You can save this information, and a new billing period will be created, ready to be used when creating a contract. Moving on, you have Approval Settings. Here you can set up an approval hierarchy for users to approve contracts internally. In our case, you have created a hierarchy starting with Kevin, followed by John. Each contract created will go through this hierarchy for approval. For instance, when a contract is created, the first level of approval will be assigned to Kevin. Once Kevin approves it, it will be forwarded to John Wick. If you need to add another level to the approval hierarchy, you can select another user. For example, let's add this user as the third level in the hierarchy. They will have the highest level of approval and can proceed with approving the contract. Finally, after John Wick approves the contract, Diane can directly approve the contract without requiring John Wick or Kevin's approval. Alternatively, if Kevin approves the contract, it still needs approval from both John Wick and Diane. Following approval settings, you can see contract packages. These packages allow you to create a template for contracts. When creating a new contract in Zuper, you can select a contract package and all the information will be pre-populated. You can provide a name and description for the contract, specify the term, and select a contract template. Additionally, you can include line items relevant to the contract and specify the number of items falling under it. Set the billing period and define when the invoice should be generated. Select the payment term to be provided to customers. Moreover, you can choose whether to automatically generate invoices once the contract is selected and whether to send these invoices to customers. With the contract package in place, you can effortlessly create new contracts with pre-populated information while having the flexibility to add further details for customization. Also, you have contract templates similar to invoice and job templates. These templates allow you to define a graphical representation of the contract for the customer. You can use HTML or utilize the drag-and-drop creator to design these contract templates. Lastly, you have reminders such as code and invoice reminders. You can create reminders to notify customers regarding contract-related matters. For example, you can set a reminder to be sent 2 days after the contract has been created, reminding the customer about important details. Specify the timing, such as 10:38 a.m., and choose to send the reminder via email. Provide a subject and body for the email, and you can utilize variables to include relevant information. Once you save the reminder, it will be sent to the customer whenever a new contract is created. Next, let us look into assets. Go to the Settings and Asset Settings available under the Configuration Settings in the Settings tab. You can click on the Assets button, and it will take you to the respective asset settings. The first page will display your asset categories. These are the different categories in which you can organize your assets. To create a new category, click on the New button, provide a name, description, and a new asset category will be created. You can also edit existing categories by clicking on the pencil icon and changing them. Next, let's define a template for an asset. This template will provide a graphical representation of the asset's ownership, which can be sent to the customer. You can define the template using HTML or use the components available at the bottom to pull in information from the asset. You can also change the format or use the drag-and-drop template editor to design it according to your preferences. Once defined, you can download this asset as a PDF template and send it to the customer. Finally, you can see an asset inspection form. Every time an asset is serviced or worked on, the respective technician will pull up the inspection form. They can fill in the details to assess the asset's current health. To create a new asset form, click on the New Form button, provide a name and select the category to which the asset belongs. For example, let's call it vacuum cleaners. Then on the right side, you'll see a list of components available. You can drag and drop these components to build the form and ensure that all the required questions are answered by the technicians. For instance, you can create a new field like Check Battery Health and save it. This is one of the available questions. You can also add an image component for taking an image, scan QR codes or barcodes, and even use the signature component to get the customer's signature. If you want to include checkboxes, drag and drop the checkbox component and provide a question and a list of answers. Once you're ready, save the form, and it will be available whenever a technician works on an asset from the respective category. They can fill it out or access the previous form filled out by the previous technician to review the asset's history. Next, let us explore alerts and notifications. To access them, click on the Notification Alerts button under the Configuration Settings. This will take you to the Notification Alerts and Settings page. The first set of settings is for internal notifications. Here, you can create reminders, delay alerts, and status-based notifications for your internal team. To create a new reminder, click on the New button. Provide a name, select the type of reminder, push notification, SMS, or email, and choose the reminder's trigger, scheduled start time, relative to start time, end time, or due date. You can set fixed times, time periods before or after specific events or relative to due date. Additionally, you can specify which users receive the reminder, such as all employees, assigned team leaders, assigned field executives, or selected users or teams. Define the message, including components like the job's work order number or start time, and save the reminder. This way, field executives will receive an email push notification when a job is about to start in 10 minutes. Similarly, you can create delay alerts based on job status. Let's select the job category as AC service, set the job from status as booked in job to status as scheduled. Set delay alert as 60 minutes. Now, if the job is not scheduled within 60 minutes of being booked, you can email the assigned team leaders about the delay. You can also use status-based alerts, where an alert is triggered when a job reaches a particular status. For instance, when a job is marked as closed, you can email a selected team, say New Division, with the job ID and title, informing them to create the invoice. Moving on to customer notifications, you can create reminders and status-based alerts to be sent to customers. These notifications can be in the form of SMS or email. You can customize the message and include relevant components, set the timing based on the start, end, or due date of the job. For example, when a job is updated to On My Way, you can send an SMS to the customer with the technician's estimated arrival time, ETA, and a link to track the technician's location. Lastly, there are SOS settings to provide safety to users of the Zuper Pro application. You can enable the SOS feature, specify the numbers for call and SMS, and when activated, the respective authorities will be alerted. Next, we have Miscellaneous Settings. To access them, click on the Miscellaneous Settings under the Configuration Settings. This will take you to the Miscellaneous Settings page. In the Miscellaneous Settings, you can configure your custom dashboard, quick filters, and outbound email settings. If you have a custom dashboard, provide its name, select the application it should apply to, mobile or web. Provide the URL and specify which users have access to this dashboard. You can also make it as the default dashboard. Then we have quick filters. All quick filters that have been created in various modules will be available here. You can filter them by modules, and any unnecessary filters can be cleared from here. Finally, we have the outbound email settings. You can configure your own email address, SMTP server, port number, and other relevant details. We hope this overview of Zuper's configuration settings has been informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us or schedule a personalized demo by clicking the link in the description below. Thank you and have a great day.